Hey everybody. Today I wanted to show you kind of how the pond came about. So I made a little slideshow of all the stages, and it's actually taken 4 different tries, and it's still not done. So I wanted to kind of show you the engineering challenge part of this. So here we go. So this is what the garden looked like last year. And this little tiny circle here was a really small pond. It was really just a small bowl, maybe like 6 inches deep, not that big. And over here, where this spiral of rocks are, that's where the pond is now. So I'll show you that in a minute. So this was in the spring when things were just starting to come. That's that spiral again before all the plants were growing. So now the pond takes up this whole space right here. And we started with this liner. So this is a hard plastic liner. I got it at like a home improvement store. You can get them all over the place. And it is actually 46 inches long by 26 inches wide, and it's about a foot deep. It holds 30 gallons of water. So if you imagine 30 gallons of milk like this big plastic one, you'd have to pour 30 of those gallons into the pond to fill it up. This is what it looks like before it went in the ground. So it's shaped like a peanut. It's narrow on one end, and this is the long side, the 46 inches. And it has a little bit of like a bent over edge because you want this edge to go over, like the dirt is down here. So that's so that it doesn't fall into the hole. This is the view from my second floor apartment because I wanted you to see how big the pond is compared to the sidewalk. So this is the sidewalk in front of the apartment building. And that's what the shape of the liner looks like in the ground. So I dug a big hole, put it in there. The liner itself is about as big as one of these little rectangles in the sidewalk. And this is before I started building the waterfall. So right now this is just like empty, just flat dirt. So this was like try number 1. And we tried putting the pump motor inside this vase, and then we were gonna, or the pot, and then we were gonna try to put rocks on top of it to make the waterfall. But that didn't really work out. So you can see the pot over there. We took it out. And instead of using the pot, I started building like a hill of dirt right here that's called a berm. So where that dark soil is, we started making like a mound. And then we took these bricks and I kind of made like a box with the bricks right here so that I could fill it with dirt so that it gets taller. So in the next picture, you can see we built up the mound and then put some rocks in and this cool stump. And then there's some plants on the backside, but that way it kind of looks more natural, like it's not just sitting there. The problem we ran into is we did this and we started running the water over this blue rock right here. And at first it worked okay. So I decided to make the waterfall a little bigger. And it looks like this, which looks really cool. But what was happening is the water was dripping into the back of the hill and soaking into the dirt instead of going into the pond right here. So you can see in the picture, see this black tube that kind of curls around? Well, it's coming out right where the water's coming out right there. And it's like a hose, but the hose goes into the pond and there's a motor hidden over here by the plants. And so the water goes from the pond through the hose out the waterfall and then falls back into the pond. And it's supposed to be just like a continual loop around. But what happened is the water started leaking down the back into the dirt off the back of the rocks. And so then the pond all of a sudden was only like half full. So that's the stage we're at now. So we have to figure out how can we make this waterfall with the rock pile work so that we're not losing any water out of the back. So that's the next step. So I will check in with you guys next week and let you know. I'll give you guys an update.